Are we rolling? Alright. First of all, bombastic side.
What's up everyone? David and Ali here. We got a new video for y'all today, but before we get into it, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification. So, as the video implies, yes, we are going to be giving 3 tips on how to grow your chest. You know, the pecs, the big muscle. That's why I wore the Superman shirt today, because in the comics, Superman, you always see him with his chest puffed out. So, what better video for this to wear than here? So, what exactly does the chest do? Your pecs, what are their function? Horizontally adduct your arm. So what does that mean? Bringing it from out here, when it's out to your side, bringing it in close. What motions do that? Well, pressing motions and flies motions. But for today, we're mainly going to be focusing on the pressing. Notice when you press, your elbows aren't completely tucked in. Because if you're right here tucked in and you want to bring it forward, it's not necessarily so much of your chest that's doing the work, it's more of your front delt. Because your front delt is what allows you to bring your arm from back here to up here. And you're not completely out, because you know that could cause a lot of shoulder pain when you press, but you're right in between that sweet spot. That's what we're going to be focusing on. So what movements do that? Well, real simple. Bench press, one of the king of upper body exercises. So many people, they want to do a certain amount of reps, but what happens is they fall short of it. For example, if you want to do 8 reps, but the weight is a little too heavy, you miscalculated, you didn't know you were going to be able to not do it for 8, and you stop at, let's just say, 4. What do? Well, tip number 1, have a spotter with you to help you get those last few reps. We call them force reps. Now, I want to be real careful when I say forcing the reps. A lot of people think that to grow the muscle, you need to train to failure every set. No, you don't need that. You can train within 1 to 2 to maybe up to 3 reps until failure, and you'll still see plenty of results in your chest. But occasionally, you do want those last little forced reps. Why not? I see nothing wrong with it, as long as you're not doing it all the time, because if you do it all the time, you'll just burn yourself out. So today happens to be one of those times. I'm gonna get the first few reps by myself, but as I start struggling, I'm just gonna jump in and just give me a little bit of a lift, that last little bit of assistance I need to finish my set of 8. And for the record, I can bench 2 plates for 8 reps. It just so happens that this is already like my 6th set of benching today, so I'm fatigued. It's good. There you have it. So you see, I was able to get the first 4 on my own. The second set of 4, I was struggling, but I was able to do it by myself on the way down, and she helped me on the way up. So I was able to feel a lot more contraction in my chest. I felt a lot more blood going to the muscle. I felt that pump even more so. So again, to summarize, tip number 1, if you're going to be doing bench, I highly recommend you have a spotter from time to time to help force you get those last few reps in. Not all the time, but occasionally when you do want to train to failure, or let's just say you're just too fatigued to do that weight on your own, get a little bit of help, but only have them help you on the way up. You do the work eccentrically. You're stronger eccentrically, meaning the lengthening of the muscle going down. You can handle the weight on your own going down. It's just on the way up where she has to help you. And no, if you do that, it is not all you at that point. Okay, so tip number 2. We're gonna move on to dumbbell bench press. Ironic that the first tip was about barbell bench press, but now tip number 2 is me telling you to ditch the barbell and go with dumbbells. Now, both exercises are good, don't get me wrong, but when it comes to working out, I wouldn't say there's necessarily bad exercises, but there's good exercises and there are better exercises. Each exercise has its time, place, purpose, but for growing the chest, we're talking about hypertrophy, not strength, growing the muscle, getting a bigger chest, I would say it would be a little bit more quote-unquote optimal to do dumbbell bench press. I'll explain in a bit, but I want to say optimal, functional, whatever, bro, just fucking work out, all right? Something is better than nothing. Don't overcomplicate. These are just some quick tips if you choose to listen to them, like I said. as long as you're working out, hitting the proper amount of sets, getting a good amount of resistance, adequate rest, proper diet, you'll still see results. But anyways, so the reason why I would say opt for dumbbell bench press for hypertrophy is because when you bench press, what happens? You go down with the bar hits your chest, you know, right here, and your arm's gonna go this low. But with dumbbells, you don't have that bar in the middle to stop you once you hit your chest. You can get a little bit of a deeper stretch going down and then back up. So what do? When you have a deeper stretch, you get more range of motion. Therefore, the pecs have to work a little bit longer to compensate for that extra range of motion. It's under more tension for a longer period of time. As a result of that, could lead to more hypertrophy. But like I said, don't take my advice for it. Barbell, dumbbell, do whatever you want. I just happen to like both. I actually do dumbbell bench press as an assistance exercise to build up my barbell. But either way, I like that little extra range of motion. I like that I get a little bit more of a stretch, more results. Okay, so just finished the dumbbell bench press. Last and final tip, 3. Many people do cable crossovers, which is good. I mean, it does work the chest in the way that the pecs were supposed to function to be, which is, you know, like we mentioned in the beginning, horizontally abduct. But depending on arm position, that's gonna bias a certain part of the chest. Similarly to how if you do incline bench press, it will bias, meaning it will emphasize a little bit more of the upper chest. Doesn't mean it will only work the upper chest, it just means it puts more of an emphasis on the upper. It's still gonna work the entire muscle. With cable crossover, what do we think of when we think of fully developed pec? We think of how far it drops. We can see the line, the definition. You know what? I'm gonna just show them. Hold this for me. All right, so think about it. When we have our chest muscles, we associate with, you know, the development by how low it drops right here. This is your lower pec, the costal pec. How do we target this part a little bit better on the cable machine? Well, instead of facing out and crossing the front of our body, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to use one arm, stand sideways, perpendicular to it, and bring it from the side inwards. So you see the cable is above, roughly above my shoulder, and from right here, my arm's gonna be up, and I'm going to bring my arm down. It's like I'm punching downwards. So you can already see it activates this bottom part right here. Compared to if I were to go right here in front of me, it's gonna get a little bit more of even work. Nah, let's work that bottom part right here. You see, I'm contracting it, you see it way more developed. So that's what we're gonna hit. Grab, down, you'll still feel the stretch, and contract it downwards. One thing I don't wanna see though, is that you turn your whole torso one way, right? Yeah, you don't wanna turn everything. We gotta go right here, face forward. It's just your arm. Your pec is doing all the work to move your arm in this position. You shouldn't have to rely on your entire torso. If you have to spin everything around, it's probably too much weight. Remember, hypertrophy, growing the muscle. It's not about how much weight you're lifting. It's about how you're moving the weight. What muscles are you targeting? Are you feeling it in the right spots? That's the important thing. Once you get one side, flip over, get the other side. Again, stand perpendicular to it. Start off a little high, have it right to your side, downwards. Work a little bit of that lower pec. There you have it, everyone. Those were your 3 tips on how to grow a bigger chest. You know, gotta develop them pecs. Like that, you can start to see a little bit of the striations getting yoked. Ali's in the background right now because she's sick, so she doesn't want to get anything close up because she's saying she's looking a little rough. You know, you don't want to see all that shit come out of her nose and just...
No, first of all, nothing is coming out of my nose.
Oh, that's right, it's all coming out through the mouth.
Okay.
Anyways, so those were your 3 tips. Tip number 1, just quick recap. If you're going to be doing bench press, have a spotter there with you. So those last few reps that you can't get on your own, well, they can help you on the way up. All you on the way down, all help on the way up. Tip number 2, ditch the bench press, go with dumbbells. Reasoning being, when you bench press, you can only go this low before the bar hits your chest. But if you were to go with dumbbells, You can go a little bit lower because you don't have that bar in between both of them that will touch your chest. Get a deeper stretch, more range of motion. More range of motion means that the pecs have to work for a longer period of time. More hypertrophy, more growth long term, hopefully. And then tip number 3, if you're gonna be doing with the cable machine, if you're gonna be doing your cable crossover, don't always resort for crossing it in front of your body. That's a good exercise, like I said, but I also said there's good exercises, there are better exercises, and it all depends what the goals are. If you want to develop chest, specifically the lower part right here, the drop, well, instead of going in front of you, have the angle to your side downwards. All right, hit a little bit more of that costal pec. Similarly to how you press a little bit more upwards, it emphasizes the top. This will emphasize the lower. With that being said, as always, make sure you comment down below any other video ideas you have for me. I'll be more than happy to do so. Make sure you subscribe to not just my channel, but Ali's channel and our couples, Instagram and TikTok, same thing. Follow us on all the accounts. I put all the links down in the description below. With that being said, we'll catch you all next time.
Bye.